The penultimate round of the 2018 AARO Amp Energy Racing Series season would be at the Chicagoland Speedway for the Pizzeria 200K. The AAA Pole Award goes to title contender Michael Carter in the 39 machine. As I've mentioned several times before this season, the most recent championship winner in the 2015 season. With Aaron Parker at his outside, green flag is in the air. Ashton Short third, Casey Lester fourth, and that is Carson CROMPTON in the 84 car in fifth. And it looks as though Carter inching ahead just a little bit. Brings Ashton Short along through. Short decides, I want to lead at the end of the first lap here. And he's going to bring Carson CROMPTON in the 84 car along with him. Tommy Richer as well in the 2 machine in fifth, always strong on the 1.5 mile tracks. And Ashton Short out and away early in the going here. As we're looking a little bit deeper in the field, we've got Madison Vermette here in the 01 car. He and Derek Lanigan are the only representatives of Kenny Gerald's Incorporated, as Jared Cash got suspended for his antics back at Road America last week. Michael Carter, however, a few laps later, I believe lap number 4, would get underneath of Ashton Short. That was coming to lap number 3, excuse me. Michael Carter underneath the 19 and back to the lead of the race. Casey Lester back in the 87 car started in the 4th spot, as we mentioned. He returns from injury, and right in front of him, Jerry Richardson in the 54 car also returning from injury, and both of them running very well in their returns. Richardson going underneath Carson CROMPTON here for the 4th position. I believe Jonathon Ringer in the back, well, right behind the 2 cars that we just mentioned. Inside the top 5. Derek Lanigan a few laps later would get underneath Kane Dwyer, who inherited the 3rd spot. Lanigan goes by and takes it for himself. He's had a strong run as the substitute for Alex Yates as the season has progressed. Michael Carter was unable to lead a lap, and he gets shuffled out here. Or rather, he did lead that lap, my mistake. But he gets shuffled out here, gets passed by Kane Dwyer, and now he faces pressure from his rookie reserve teammate, Mike Ewell in the 61. We mentioned at Valdor that Jack Collins drove that 61 car, but he was traded, and now we have Mike Ewell, the next kind of big hope for JN Motorsports, piloting that car. And the 4th of the JN entries this week, Seth McGuire, just behind the both of them, knocking on the door of the top 5. He's all over the back bumper of Nate Smith, who makes a move on Michael Carter, but McGuire decides to one-up them both, heading through turn number 3. And he goes underneath them in a nice move by McGuire, taking advantage of opportunities early in the going. And that is how you cement yourself as one of the premier drivers in the series. Seth McGuire has shown flashes of brilliance throughout his rookie year, and he's going to sneak himself inside the top 5, just behind his rookie teammate Ewell, off in the distance, about 3 car lengths ahead at that point. Derek Lanigan in the 1 car goes up to the lead here on lap number 9. Kane Dwyer in the 10 machine goes underneath him a lap later on lap 10, heading through turn number 1, ironically car number 10, to the lead. And it has been impressive what Kane Dwyer has done with this team. Skulls Racing has had a miraculous turnaround in their overall performance. Mike Ewell sneaks his way in the 61 car up to the 3rd spot. He brings his teammate Seth McGuire through to 2nd. McGuire goes through to 3rd, and now McGuire to the bottom of Ewell to take over the 2nd spot. Jerry Richardson in the 54 car also creeping his way into the picture, as he's been lurking back in the opening 10 laps or so. Tyler Diefer in the 20 car as well, hungry to make his presence known, to keep his championship surge alive. He has been on fire, with the exception of his finish last week at Road America. But that 20 car, easily one of the hottest in the garage at this point. Sean Glosson in the 27 car just behind him, and Michael Carter in the 39 also holding tough. Got a 4-wide situation. David Hugar, Clyde Lattinger, and Jack Jefferson make contact into the wall. Jefferson gets launched up into the fence there. That'll draw our first caution on lap 17 with a spectacular-looking accident out of turn number 4 here. And we'll take another look at this one. Looks like just too close of proximity between those cars. Jefferson gets launched into the fence, the rear of the car hitting the fence, thankfully. He lands on top of David Hugar, who drives that 77 machine away. It looks like the 77 came down. 34 tried to give room, got into the 52, and Clyde Lattinger seeing vehicular acrobatics in his rearview mirror. Thankfully, he drives away with minimal damage. Looking at this one in slow motion, as the 52 snags onto the wall there. That's where he catches the rear of his 52 Delta Airlines Dodge in the fence there. Jefferson's day unfortunately done. And Definitely not the finish that he was looking for. These guys were running rather far in the back. And Lattinger in the 34 car would actually have some engine damage that would put him off the pace for the rest of the day. So as we would have green flag pit stops under this caution, Kane Dwyer leads them in, and he's going to lead them out. Nearly contact with Casey Lester as the 87 car tried to get into the pits there. Glossom, Carter, Dwyer, and McGuire, the top 5, rounding out the top 5 as the rest of the field exits the pit lane here. Standard everyday stops as Kane Dwyer, would you imagine, leads the field to the restart on lap number 22. This is a 134 lap event. Sean Glossom eager to get by him, goes to the outside, dives to the bottom where he sees an opening, and he slips right on through. He's going to bring Tyler Diefer along with him in the 20 car. Diefer looking for some extra bonus points by leading a lap, and he's hounding the back bumper of Glossom in an attempt to get those. Carson Crompton up here in the 84 car after he's had a rough couple of weekends in this 84 machine, but he looks to be well on his way to turning that around. He's got Jerry Richardson to his inside trying to make a peek for the spot. Barry Juveno in that 9 car as well, aggressively trying to make his way through the field. Juveno known for his aggressive driving style. As we've got Carter, McGuire, Dwyer, and Lanigan doing battle here. Looks as though Carter wins out, and until they get to turn number 4, Lanigan going to make a move here. Barry Juveno, we mentioned how he was making his way through the field. He wastes no time in making a 3-wide bid, just as McGuire did earlier on in the race. Goes underneath Dwyer, and in doing so, shuffles his teammate out of the way. Tyler Diefer here in the number 20 Bank of America Ford. Looks to the lead, and it looks like he's going to get it here on lap number 27. Ironically, around car number 27. And Sean Glossom, we've mentioned, ever since he stepped into that 27 machine, has been very fast. We mentioned Clyde Lattinger was off the pace as a result of some of the damage that he got for being caught up in that accident in turn number 4 on lap 17. So he might be a factor in the battle for the lead here. Glossom back around Tyler Diefer here, back to the lead on lap number 29. He goes through. Diefer did get a couple of laps led. So that's some great news for that 20 team. And obviously the points battle going to be very crucial, going to be a leading storyline as this race continues along. So you've got Derek Lanigan going underneath of Diefer to take the lead for himself on lap number 31. And you wonder what might have been had Alex Yates not gotten hurt. Maybe Yates would be a contender even if he had missed the season opening round at Livonia. Lap 42, we've got Nate Smith and Michael Carter doing battle here. I believe for that would be the 6th position. As Smith obviously wrecking last week, some pressure on his shoulders to try and get a good run, hopefully to get himself a win, to cement himself as a contender heading into the final round next week. We've got Ashton Short back up into the fray underneath Tyler Diefer in the 20 machine. He's going to bring Jerry Richardson along with him. Short, as we've mentioned several times this season, knocking on the door of his first career win. Now we take a look at this shot across the start-finish line. Tyler Diefer in 3rd, Carson Crompton 5th, Kane Dwyer 7th, Michael Carter in 9th, and Tommy Richer, well, obviously being the outlier here, 28th at this point, and he has fallen like a rock through the field ever since that restart. Here he is nearly turning Brad Curtis there, going around him for 27th. He's mired back in traffic. Ryan Barley all over his back bumper now. Draft obviously a very important factor around this 1.5 mile speedway. Here's Clyde Lattinger going a lap down here. Lap number 51. There goes Short and Richardson around him. And Lattinger has been very consistent this season, but bad luck has seemed to strike him at the worst of times. Nearly has some more bad luck go his way. And another guy who can't seem to catch a break, Aaron Gallagher, almost turning him out of turn number 4. So the 89 obviously eager to get by him. And Gallagher not having too shabby of a run himself in his first trip to the Chicagoland Speedway. Jerry Richardson goes to the lead. Lap number 61 now, as we see Carson Crompton in the 84 car emerging into the picture for the lead here. But Richardson with a nice run out of turn number 4 gives himself a little bit of distance. Not going to help him much though as the run continues along. Tyler Diefer moves to the 2nd spot. Nate Smith looks primed to get 4th here underneath Kane Dwyer back there. but Tyler Diefer moves to the second spot around Ashton Short. However, Short would get back around Diefer a few laps later, and then lap number 71 underneath Jerry Richardson and to the lead of the race for himself. Richardson definitely eager to get his first win in what would be a long time for a personal streak for him. Carson Crompton in the 84 car moving to third on lap 79. And just a little bit too much bad luck has plagued this 84 team, whether it be mechanical issues or crashes. It's mostly been crashes with this 84 crew, but Crompton still showing that he has plenty of muscle to flex underneath the hood of the Starburst Toyota. Lap number 80, we have Jerry Richardson coming into the pits. Tyler Diefer's going to follow him in. Ike Durbin in the 86 car has had a rather poor weekend in that machine as he decided to come in a lap early. Carson Crompton stays out an extra lap to get himself a lap lead, get himself some bonus points. Then he's going to peel off here on lap number 82. And Sean Glosson deciding to stay out just behind him in an effort to maybe try and shuffle the strategy at least a little bit. The outcome doesn't shuffle as Jerry Richardson cycles back around to the lead with Tyler Diefer in tow just as they entered the pits for their cycles. Derek Lanigan and Jordan Tipson with some contact there. That could have been really bad. And Lanigan given a warning by the officials after that. Certainly not wanting to see a rather large incident out of turn number 4 like we saw earlier. As Tyler Diefer closing, trying to make a move on Jerry Richardson, but Richardson making the outside lane work, successfully holds him off and holds the lead. As we've got Kane Dwyer back in 21st, so either he had a very slow stop in that 10 with that 10 team, or the adjustment that they made under that stop really not helping, really not suiting the way that he drives. So we've got Aaron Parker and Earl McRae with a little bit of contact right there, having some solid runs. Aaron Parker has been nothing short of impressive in this 29 machine, making his case to return to this team, probably in the same role that he's been, a reserve driver. And, well, he's been doing a good job at solidifying that. Derek Lanigan succeeds in turning Jordan Tipson out of turn number 4 this time into the wall. They go. Caution number 2 on lap 95. Kane Dwyer piles into that one. Madison Vermette involved. Dwyer gets hit again. Nate Smith is involved in the 83 car. Chris Morissette is done in the 92. So that's 3 cars out of it, just short of the pit lane entrance. And Lanigan just hooked him into the inside. That was needless on the part of Lanigan. And he gets hit by Dwyer hard right there, and he goes barrel rolling down the track. He would be taken to the infield care center. He was awake and alert, but no word on his exact medical condition at this time. But he was immediately called to the hauler. And boy, Kenny Gerald's Incorporated already has 1 driver out to suspension. Definitely don't need another one. As Tipson goes along, his crew was absolutely furious with the one of Lanigan. And understandably so. Ike Durbin there getting some damage. Looks like he'll be off the pace for that one. Nate Smith in the 83 collected as well. So that's an unfortunate break for him. Not what he needed at all. Jonathon Ringer on board with him. And he's just going to plow into Bill Phillips, who was just minding his own business, trying to slow up to get through that wreck. So that is going to take Jonathon Ringer out of this race. So that's definitely not what he needed. There's what's left of the 18 car. After he got towed back to the pits under caution. So there would be a brawl in the garage area as the members of the 18 crew went over to Derek Lanigan's crew, and fines are probably going to be doled out after that one, and understandably so. And Earl McRae has some front end damage, so he probably ran into the back of somebody. Let's see what happened here in the 30 machine. Oh, he avoids Kent Grosso. And James Rodan, those two must have also piled in, and then McRae tries to avoid Grosso, and then Rodan was right there. So that's going to take Earl McRae out of the final reserve race of the season. Disappointing end to his day after he was having a good run in this 30 car, subbing still for the injured Jalen Scranton, and we believe he will be back at Livonia next week. We don't believe Scranton will be returning, as Jerry Richardson leads the field at the restart here on lap number 100. As points contenders, we've got Diefer and Crompton second and third, hounding the back bumper of the 54, hungry to get themselves up front. Diefer looks to the inside, can't make the move happen the very next lap. We've got Crompton going underneath of Diefer to take the third spot away. Herb Cilantro, very quiet run, but he finds himself inside the top 5 for the Giacalone Motorsports team, the home hardware Chevy. And a tumultuous year it has been for Cilantro, and he will be back with that team in all likelihood. As Crompton goes to the lead of the race, Diefer following behind him. Oh, and the caution lights are on, so we have our third caution. Cody Lochner, and that's Pat McKenzie making contact. Nate Smith collected again. So Smith trying to stay in this race. He gets some more damage as the third caution on lap number 103 involving 2 of the Garth teammates. So Nate Smith going to be put further off the pace. Ike Durbin's already off of the pace in the 86 cars. He got involved in that second caution. So ACS Racing has kind of got Carson Crompton as their only ray of light left. And Lochner was furious with his teammate after this one, understandably so, as McKenzie just came up the track. He got clipped by his teammate as Lochner came back up, and the 82 goes hard into the wall. That'll take McKenzie out. Instant karma, if that exists, inflicted on the rookie Pat McKenzie. And Lochner driving back to the pits just behind his teammate, and he would have some choice words in the Garth Enterprises hauler. That's going to make the team meeting very awkward. That takes both of them out of the race. Carson Crompton leads the field to the restart, lap 108, as Clyde Lattinger dropping through the field with his engine damage on the inside of the track. So the rest of the lead lap cars going around Lattinger, Tyler Diefer, hot on the tire tracks, in the tire tracks of the 84 of Crompton. And Diefer eventually tries to make a move here on lap number 109 to the lead of the race. Can't quite complete it, as the 84 making a valiant effort on the outside line, trying to hold him off. Looks like Crompton with a nice run on the exit of 2. Just inching ahead, about half a car length. Diefer, however, holding strong on the bottom. Crompton in this 84 car trying to send off his time in the 84 car the right way, as he's going to be leaving this team to start his own team. Kylix Motorsport, I believe, is the name of it. They've kind of been taking suggestions as to what to call it, but Crompton will be starting his own operation. It'll be 2 cars next year, him and Ike Durbin driving the both of those machines. Michael Carter on the outside of a Silver Green Racing sandwich here, with Barry Juvenot, his teammate, right behind him, and obviously Barry Juvenot and Silver Green Racing with not quite the friendliest of relationships, as Carter kind of mired back in traffic at this point in the race, trying to fight tooth and nail for each position. Sean Glossom's going to go around the 20 car of Tyler Diefer to take second. We've got Tommy Richer in the 2 machine. Him and Herb Cilantro with a little bit of contact. Lap 114. Looks like they saved it. And Cilantro, I believe, merged cleanly. Yes, he did. He actually didn't really miss a beat. He just came right back up the track. And Richer's going to merge side by side with his teammate Lester right there. But scary moment for those 2 drivers, as Sean Glossom trying to go underneath his Toyota compatriot of Crompton, trying to challenge for the lead. Crompton, however, still holding strong in the 84 car. This is about as strong as the outside lane has looked all day. And Crompton certainly showing that he has the best car today, this 84, the Starburst Toyota. And he's definitely making a case to try and take out this win. It looks like Ashton Short dropping back here in the 19 machine. He gets passed by Tyler Diefer and Aaron Parker. So Short, with his teammate Steven Cortez right behind him, Short is back in 4th at this point. Cortez back in 5th. Sam Davids Racing having a solid day thus far. He's got Sean Glossom hot in the tire tracks of the 84 now. And it looks like he will be the main contender if anyone can get around Carson Crompton as the laps tick down. He's trying to get the draft, trying his best to get to the rear bumper. As we've got Ike Durbin here with 5 laps to go. Looks like he's going to be a courteous back marker and stay out of the way of this battle. Let the 2 leaders fight for themselves. Massive kudos to the 86 of Durbin, always known to be one of the more respectful guys in the garage area. Rather quiet in terms of media and press, but everyone really nothing but nice things to say about him, and he's showing why. As coming to the white flag here, Carson Crompton has a car length in between himself and Sean Glossom. Glossom hot in the tire tracks. He has enough for 1 charge, but I don't know if he's going to get there in time. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Crompton with the fastest car of the day by far, and it looks like he is going to come home in the position. The fastest car today will win the race. Crompton through the tri-oval wins the Pizzeria 200. A great effort by this ACS team. And after misfortune plaguing a few of their other cars, CARSON CROMPTON gets the job done here at Chicagoland. So while throughout this season there have been some questions as to whether or not CARSON CROMPTON is a main title contender, he sure showed the field today, leading the most laps of anybody with 34 and taking out the victory here today in Chicagoland. This is going to do his championship bid a lot of good. He came into this race third in points. We'll have to see how that calculates out. Sean Glossop comes home in second. By far, Sauer Enterprises' best finish of the season. By far the best finish for that 27 car all year. Jerry Richardson brings it home in third. Great run for him on his return from sitting on the sidelines for a few races after his big wreck a few weeks ago. Greg Nee with a very quiet run in fourth as well. Just seems a lot like what Jack Jefferson's form earlier on in the season. Just hung around in the back, didn't make a whole lot of noise early on in the race, and managed to put himself in a good position when it mattered. Aaron Parker has been dynamite in that 29 car. He comes home with another top 5 in that number 29 machine in perhaps his final run of the 2018 season. Steven Cortez in 6th with a very nonchalant run in the 96 machine. He finishes 6th. Tyler D for 7th with a lap led. I believe actually 5 laps led in that 20 car. So that does his bid at least a little bit of good. It keeps him relatively in striking distance heading to Livonia next week. Ashton Short in 8th. Tommy Richer, after struggling for the middle portion of this race, finishes inside the top 10. And that's exactly what you need to do. You have to have an element of damage control, and that 2 team executing that perfectly. And Darcy Lusk, we did not mention him once. We hardly saw him once, as he was, like Greg Nee, not really anywhere of note, and just managed to find himself in a good spot. Come the checkered flag, he brings home the Silver Green Racing number 22 in the 10th spot. Now on to the drivers' points, and as you can imagine, all of the names in red, basically anyone outside of the top 5, is mathematically eliminated from the championship contention. They will not be able to win the title at Livonia next week. The max that you can gain in an event is 194 points. So Tommy Richer, 182 back in 5th. He's got a chance. It's just not looking very probable. He's got to have a lot go right. In that 2 car, he's going to have a lot go wrong for the 84 CARSON CROMPTON as well. And Crompton propelling himself to the top of the point standings with his win today from 3rd. I said that it would be very interesting to see how that calculates out. 1,915 points for the 84 team, 67 markers over Michael Carter in the 39 machine. Tyler D for 3rd, 85 markers back. And Kane Dwyer, who came into this race, I believe 97 points over 4th place, finds himself in 4th place, 96 points back. So we'll have to see what the winless rookie can do next week at Livonia to try and get himself his first championship in his very first season. And what an incredible story that would be if he were able to pull that off. Tommy Richer, as we mentioned, in 5th. Clyde Lattinger wrecked earlier on lap number 17, and that put the final nail in his championship coffin in what has been a remarkable season for him personally. Certainly nothing to be ashamed of. Tip of the cap from everybody in the garage area, everybody in the media, for a remarkable season that Clyde Lattinger has had. Nobody could have expected him to do this well. Nate Smith in 7th, arguably could be said to be one of the best drivers this season, hands down, but just bad luck in recent weeks has taken him out of this equation. Unfortunate break for him. Madison Vermette has been knocking on the door several times of his first win, unable to get it, and he has had a couple of instances of bad luck that have plagued him as well, and arguably that is also what's taken him out of the equation. Casey Lester was hurt a couple of races, so he was out for a couple of events, therefore not scoring points, so he sits almost 300 points behind Crompton. And Jonathon Ringer as well, with his interesting piece of brain fade piling into the back of Bo Phillips and under that second caution. That very clearly took him out of the picture, and he was already on dire straits heading into this event. So 5 drivers remain in the points battle heading into next week. It'll be very interesting to see how that race goes and who will be crowned the 2018 AARO AMP Energy Racing Series champion.